This is The Minimum Commitment, film theory in small doses. Sometimes I think the most dangerous thing you can say to a man is, "Don't cry," because it doesn't make the pain go away. It just pushes it deeper until the only way out is breaking something. I'm Don Lawler, film scholar, sound obsessive, and a guy who knows a thing or two about swallowing emotion until it breaks your voice. Let's get into it. Punch-Drunk Love isn't your typical romantic comedy. It doesn't sparkle. It stumbles around like it's drunk on panic and suddenly falling in love. Paul Thomas Anderson builds the whole film like a visual panic attack. Barry, played with unsettling stillness by Adam Sandler, is a man trying to hold himself together under the weight of expectations, repression, and an unrelenting hum in his head. He's not looking for love. He's looking for quiet. And somehow, he finds both. Just not in the way we're used to seeing. This episode leans into three intersecting theories. Auteur theory. Paul Thomas Anderson knows the genre. You can feel it in the silhouette embraces and the so-called meet-cutes. That's the screenwriting term for the moment when two romantic leads meet for the first time, usually in some awkward or unexpected way. But he bends those familiar moments into discomfort. He doesn't reject romance, he distorts it, reframes it, and makes it a test of endurance. Masculinity studies. Barry is what happens when men are taught to repress everything. Emotion, pain, fear. He doesn't rage until he is cornered. And when he does, it's not scary. It's absurd. He's explosive but fragile, violent but ashamed. And surreal formalism. From lens flares to disconnected soundscapes, this film feels like it's filtered through Barry's emotional frequency. It doesn't follow logic. It follows feeling. And that's what makes it so hard to look away. Barry wears a suit to work. He stacks pudding for frequent flyer miles he'll never use. He answers phones with a voice that barely escapes his throat. He's not performing confidence. He's performing containment, trying not to explode, trying to disappear. And everyone around him pushes. His sisters mock him. His co-workers ignore him. Even the sound design seems to overwhelm him. And then Lena arrives, not as a cure, but as a disruption. Lena is played by Emily Watson, who brings a calm, almost unnerving confidence to the role. She's quiet, but not passive. She doesn't soothe Barry, she invites him to the surface. But Barry doesn't know how to surface, so he does what repressed men do. He imitates what he thinks normal looks like. He buys a suit. He tries phone sex. He talks through walls of silence and shame. And that attempt to appear normal bleeds into the structure of the film itself. Because nothing here plays straight. The genre is recognizable, but bent out of shape. That's the key to understanding how Anderson builds his world. This film wants to be a romantic comedy. It has all the pieces: meet-cutes, awkward phone calls, a chaotic family, and an underdog lover. But everything feels off. The camera holds too long. The sound drops out. The Popeye theme song interrupts the score like a memory someone can't suppress. Lighting doesn't behave. It moves. It flickers. Colors bleed. Blue lens flares trail Barry like ghosts. Red follows Lena like a warning, or maybe a promise. When she arrives in white, it's not purity. It's possibility. This isn't realism. It's emotional geometry. A visual map of a man barely keeping it together. Beneath the colors and broken melodies is a deeper fracture, a question of identity shaped by gender. What does it mean to be a man in this film? How do you navigate love when your entire upbringing taught you to hide everything? Barry's pain isn't cinematic, it's inherited. And it's not just his. It's all the men who were told to smile through humiliation and hold it in when they wanted to cry. Barry is terrified of exposure, not just emotional, but biographical. When his sisters share stories about his past, you can see him fold. He wants Lena to see him as whole, but the truth is, Barry is held together by threat detection and the hope that no one looks too close. He's denied therapy, mocked for asking for help, laughed at when he tries to speak honestly. So when he destroys a bathroom or threatens a phone sex extortionist, it's not about dominance. It's about panic. He's not defending himself. He's trying to find the exits. This film doesn't romanticize his outbursts. It lets them land with awkwardness or silence or pity. And then something strange happens. Amid all the repression and unease, Barry gets the girl. Not because he's healed, not because he deserves it, but because someone saw him in the middle of his mess and didn't flinch. Their love story isn't cute. It's unsettling. Maybe that's the most honest part of all. There's a moment when Barry calls Lena in her hotel room from a payphone. At first, a man answers, throwing Barry off, rattling his fragile confidence. He calls the front desk back, insisting that something is wrong, because this isn't how it's supposed to go. You feel the fear of rejection creeping in again. But then Lena answers, and right as her voice comes through, the light in the booth switches on. We see it, we hear it, the connection is made. And in that instant, something shifts, not just the light, but Barry. It's the first time his world offers alignment instead of resistance. That's Anderson, taking a rom-com trope and breaking it open. The lighting becomes the emotional arc, connection symbolized by illumination. Later, Barry and Lena lie in bed together, and instead of sweet nothings, Barry whispers about crushing her face. It's disturbing, but it's not abusive. It's raw emotion, scrambled and unpracticed. This is intimacy without polish, affection without rehearsal. It's love, learned in real time by someone who never thought they'd get it. That payphone light doesn't fix Barry, but it signals something. Not that everything is fixed, but that maybe, finally, he's allowed to begin. By the end of Punch Drunk Love, Barry gets something like resolution. Not a cure, not a fix, but a beginning. And maybe that's enough. That's not the neat closure of most romantic comedies. There is no grand declaration, no wedding, no final kiss on a bridge. Just two people holding each other through the static, trying to figure out if this moment, this fragile quiet, can last. That's your thought for the day. Minimum commitment, maximum meaning. See you next time. The Minimum Commitment is produced, recorded, and edited by Don Lawler. Music by Itamar. The Minimum Commitment is produced, recorded, and edited by Don Lawler. Music by Itamar. The Minimum Commitment is produced, recorded, and edited by Don Lawler. Music by Itamar. The Minimum Commitment is produced, recorded, and edited by Don Lawler. Music by Itamar.